All right, welcome back. And a very sad note, we're going to be joined by the State Police Troop C and Trooper Ross Brennan, who is a public information officer. And Trooper Brennan, good to see you under tough circumstances. I know we had a tragedy involving a car crash, so I'll give you the floor, okay?
Yeah, Sunday evening, February 19th, we responded to a two-vehicle fatal crash on Highway 57, which is Grand Caillou Road near Dream Court. Unfortunately, there was two Houma residents that did die in that crash, Craig and Cookie Boudreaux. Originally, the call came out as an injury crash, but once troopers arrived on scene, it turned out to be much worse. So our preliminary investigation is shown that Jorge Fernandez from Houma, he was traveling north Highway 57 in the Mitsubishi Outlander. And at the same time, Craig Boudreaux was traveling south in the Chevrolet Silverado. And for reasons that we're still trying to determine, the Mitsubishi crossed the center line and struck the Chevy. Like we said, both Craig and Cookie Boudreaux, they did suffer fatal injuries, and they died at the scene. Fernandez and his passenger, they had critical injuries, and they were transported to a New Orleans area hospital for treatment. All occupants inside that vehicle, or inside both the vehicles, everybody was properly restrained. Just the way that crash dynamics happened. Unfortunately, there was two people that were seriously injured, two people that were killed. Standard toxicology samples were collected from both of the drivers, and we're waiting for analysis from the State Police Crime Lab.
Yeah, and this is a very tough story because when I saw it, Ms. Boudreaux did some work for me years back. She was a very, very nice lady, and I knew the family, and certainly this hits home. And I know it's under investigation, but if we may morph from this and just talk about, I'm not saying this incident had anything to do with it, but on a lot of incidents, you see people texting and driving, especially around Mardi Gras. Some people we see drinking and driving. We see a lot of that. So just give you a chance to speak to the audience about just being super careful, because when we wake up to news like this, it's not fun.
And like you said, I mean, these types of crashes, they happen all throughout the year. But I guess the recipe for disaster is more exaggerated during the carnival season. You have people coming back from parades that are driving impaired. You have distractions inside the vehicle, whether it's texting while driving or even people communicating with other passengers inside the vehicle, people not wearing seat belts. So all these different things are happening at the same time. In addition to pedestrians on the side of the roadway, you can have pedestrians along the parade route. Somebody's driving reckless or not paying attention or driving impaired. That can cause a problem also. So it's imperative that everybody on the roadway, especially during this season, make sure that they are driving sober, properly restrained inside the vehicle, driving without distractions inside the vehicle, because that's really the only things that we can do as a whole to help lower these fatality rates. And just compare fatality rates. So far in 23 Troop C, we've investigated 3 fatal crashes with 4 fatalities. If we look back into the year of 2022, we investigated 7 crashes with also 7 fatalities. So we are on a little bit of a decline this year. Hopefully that trend stays that way. But going back to those driving safety tips, it just takes all of us to make those right choices behind the wheel to lower our fatal numbers in our area.
And I know y'all do such a great job. Y'all have really pushed with the children, and you have children now telling their parents, you're not driving after this parade's over, you've been drinking. And I find that the younger adults now, or the message is sinking in. Doesn't mean they all listen. None of us all listen. But y'all are making a good headway into that. And I know y'all put a lot of time into reaching people.
Yes, sir. And as time goes on, those younger drivers that to get a little bit more established on the roadway, like you said, we're starting to see a lot of teen drivers. They're instructing their parents on what to make better choices on the roadway. Even whenever I was on patrol looking for impaired drivers, we saw a lot of young people that had designated drivers or using Uber or Lyft. So that message is getting out there. So hopefully over time, maybe some of that older generation, they didn't have that education that the younger ones have now. So gradually over time, some of that good driving behavior starts to get filtered out through all age groups.
It's pretty much generational. I've said it often on this program that when we were going out in my college days, we all took the back roads. We're not proud of it, but if everybody's going to be honest, we did not get the education that y'all put in place for the younger adults after my generation. So generationally, I think it's working.
Yes, sir. We're definitely seeing that trend, especially with young drivers starting to make better choices on the roadway. Again, there's always that anomaly of somebody who is making a bad choice if they are young. But that's just human nature. People are going to make mistakes.
Just in closing, we have about a minute left, but I know when y'all come upon these type of tragic accidents, you know, I think a lot of people need to thank you all, because that's not an easy task for a trooper or a policeman or anybody in law enforcement or an ambulance driver or a fire truck with all of its inhabitants on it to come upon a scene of tragedy. So thank you all for what you do. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. They say that typically the average human experiences only one major event or major tragedy in their life, where first responders of all types, like I said, fire, EMS, police, we see it on a daily basis. So it can definitely take a toll on people, but we appreciate the community support. We thank you for your station support, and it does mean a lot.
All right, there you have it, Trooper Ross Brennan with the State Police. We appreciate him joining us today, and please be safe, not only during Mardi Gras season, but throughout the year. We'll take a break. We'll come back. A lot more news here on HTV, and catch us on Facebook and YouTube for all of these repeated stories. So we'll be right back.